Welcome to Fly Little Birds. This is a channel all about fostering and adoption and childhood trauma, so if that's an interest to you, then please hit the subscribe button. I'm the adopter of 2 sibling boys who are now 12 and 13, but I've also been a foster carer. Today we're going to talk about building resilience in fostered and adopted children and how you can facilitate that. So the first point that I want to make for you is to build on what they can already do, so build on their achievements and help them to know what it is they would like to do. So this doesn't have to be big things at all, it can be small things. It might be that they enjoy colouring, it might be they enjoy riding a bike, it might be they enjoy playing in sand if you're talking about younger children, but whatever it is that they like to do or you notice that they are good at or better at, then I think it's a really good start to help build their resilience by you encouraging them to do those things often. So that's my first point. My second point is, although it's really frustrating, allow the child to shadow you, because I think especially in the early days of a placement, whether you're fostering or adopting, that lots of children you will find will shadow you and will want to be really close to you. Now for us in our family, we still find that that is what happens, and our children are 12 and 13. They still like to shadow us and they still like to know where we are. So we realise from that they still are suffering from the effects of childhood trauma and making sure that we are available to them. So I would really encourage you not to get frustrated with that and to allow them to do that as much as possible. There is a caveat on that. That can be exhausting and you do need time away from the child as well. So I'm not suggesting that you push yourself beyond what you're able to do, but as much as you can allow them to be close to you, then I would allow that to happen, because that's about them building attachment. I'm sure you understand that, and that's about them trying to mitigate the effects of their childhood trauma. My third point for you would be to look at their healthy relationships that they are building already with you or that you want to build with them. So sometimes this isn't actually always friendships from school or nursery or preschool or daycare. Sometimes this is adult relationships as well. So look at who there is in the family, look at who their friends could be, and help them to foster those healthy relationships so that they begin to understand that it's not just you that is looking out for their needs. It's not just you who can be there for them. It's not just you who they can trust. There are other people in the world that actually can be nice to them and give them some sense of satisfaction in having a relationship. You do have to be really careful with friendships actually, because some children can be really cruel. Some children can talk about fostering and adoption in a not very nice way or not understand it. So you do have to have some sort of level of protection for your child and make sure that actually they understand that not all friendships will go well. And sometimes that's the case in family relationships, to be honest with you. You may find some of your family members are much more understanding about your children's behaviour and how they react to certain situations, and other members of the family or your friends are less tolerant. So again, you may have to look at how that's going to work for your child. Point number 4 is allow your child to have lots of familiar events, spaces and routines. I know that's 3 things in one point, but familiar spaces, so the way their bedroom is laid out, the way you have things in the home. Don't change things around too much. If you're anything like me, I like change, or I like moving things around a lot, but actually children, when you're building their resilience, they don't want that change. So look at your spaces and kind of keep them familiar. Look at your routines, so don't change things around too much. Don't kind of swap around when you're going to have your dinner times. Don't swap around too much what you're having for breakfast, things like that they can then rely upon. It makes them feel a lot safer when they know what is going to happen, when it's going to happen, when they know what foods they're going to be offered. It makes them feel safer, which then builds resilience. And this also goes for boundaries as well. It's not really very helpful if you put a boundary in place and actually you break that boundary or you allow them to break that boundary. It's really important that you do keep the boundaries really solid and that they know what to expect. So if they do a certain thing and you react in a certain way, you put something in place, then you do that the next time as well. So my 5th and final point is for you to be familiar with what effects there are from childhood trauma. And I'm sure if you're a foster carer or an adopter, you've already had training on this. And sometimes though, it's really difficult to see when childhood trauma is having an effect on your child. And sometimes anxieties come through and you don't really know it's because of that. You think it's because of something else. So get yourself well versed in childhood trauma, read up about it. I've got lots of videos on it, so I'll link some at the end for you, but make sure that you understand it and make sure that you are beginning to look at your own child's, because what you will see is they will begin to show a pattern. Sometimes it's really hard to see what it is, but normally there will be some events and things that happen that will trigger them and cause them to behave in certain ways. And of course, if you overreact to that and think it's something else, or you misinterpret that behavior, then that's not going to help that resilience to build. Whereas if the child sees that as the parent or the foster carer or foster parent, you are responding in a way that's nurturing, helpful, still full of boundaries as well, but firm boundaries as well, that they begin to feel safer with you and know that you're going to react in an appropriate way. So those are my 5 points for you in building resilience in fostered and adopted children. I hope you found that helpful. I will link, as I say, a playlist at the end for you on childhood trauma. Please subscribe if you haven't and hit the notification bell, and I will see you on my next video. Thank you.